All right, another best of three, and oh, actually, because Strelok's name is so long, I have to actually move the scoreboard just a little bit. Give me a sec here. We'll hop in introductions in a moment, guys. I hate trying to drag the tiny text on XSplit. There we go. Okay, whatever. It's slightly off center, but you guys can deal with that for now.
Unless you have OCD, you're gonna be okay.
No, if you have OCD, you might as well just turn off the stream because I am not fixing this. Strelok's name is too long and these texts are too tiny. At any rate, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another best of three between these two great teams, NAVI and mYi. This is Rifkin. I'm casting now with Over and spawning here in the upper right corner of the map. Not playing for FX Open. Well, what kind of FX Open? It is actually NAVI's Strelok.
Ooh. Really need to get that cheer on.
Yeah, just need like a laugh track too in the background or something.
Generic laughs. And in the bottom right, spawning as Zerg, as pink Zerg, it is mYi's Zervas. Or Zervas.
Yeah, it's Zervas. Kind of a cool point about Zervas, guys. Recently joining mYi, used to be on Binary Evasion for the longest team. I believe he has plans to move into the team house. I know he was at least hanging out there a weekend or two ago. And he's also a really friendly guy. If you've been on BaseTradeTV before, you know he's actually cast some stuff with us too. So pretty cool dude overall. Strelok though, I don't know. Over, do you think he's gonna play mech this series?
Well, Strelok is known for that. Also, I haven't seen him much on the tournament side of StarCraft lately, so at least I haven't followed him too much. But hopefully we'll see an interesting series. Definitely Terran can bring it up and can spice it up in TVZ. So I wouldn't count the mech out.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to toe-to-toe with people like Bly and Zervas in the Zotac Monthly Finals. On a weekly basis, he plays in the Zotac European Cup. I mean, he's had his fair share of good players, but he may not have played Zervas before, because Zervas, you know, he works, he goes to school, and he plays StarCraft. He's pretty good at balancing all three, but because of this, he doesn't play in a lot of the weekly cups. So I am almost guaranteed for sure, certain that they've fought each other on ladder, but maybe not in an actual tournament setting too often.
Yeah, and well, I'm expecting to. I mean, it's Whirlwind. It's gonna be Bio most likely because it seems like it's too big of a map for mech in general. And if Strelok just thinks straight for a little bit, he won't go for that Thor Siege Tank Hellbat composition. At least in my mind. But you know, it's Strelok. It's everything's possible by him.
You know, it's a little bit silly, and you don't see it often, if ever, but one thing I always love seeing on Whirlwind especially, because this seems to be the only map I've ever actually cast games of this happening on, are Thor drops. Like, it's so silly, but they work so effectively, because what really stops a Thor? Well, not a lot.
Basically nothing if you don't have at least like a ton of Zerglings or at least a ton of Roaches to really damage the
Yeah, but that's when you just lift it up and go elsewhere.
Yeah,
I've only had the pleasure of seeing Thor drops 3 times in my casting career, and all 3 of them have been on Whirlwind, so whenever we're here, I've always got my fingers crossed.
Or I've seen proxy Thor drops, if you know what I mean. Starport, Factory, everything goes proxy and you just go for it. I mean, that's also one of the things I've
Sounds like
encountered.
a Fuser build.
does actually do, yes.
Yeah, Fuser dude, that guy proxies. He proxies Command Center if he could, I tell you. Like,
he would go for a planetary proxy against Zerg if it was possible. If the creep spread wouldn't spread so fast from the hatchery, there would definitely be some planetary fortress at your hatchery on natural third base.
Well, speaking of third bases, Zervas has started acquiring his own. Meanwhile, Strelok has got a really nice wall off here at the front. This is great. Like, it frustrates me to no end. So many players of lower calibers, they're like, I'm not going to bother with a wall off if my opponent goes Roaches. They're going to go through it anyways. But this wall off is so critical to holding off anything in the early game. Whether it's a Baneling best, whether it's a Zergling all-in, or whether it's 8 early Roaches, regardless, this wall off is critical. And Strelok got it up very early.
Yeah, I mean the wall off, like you said. I mean even a Rambai can be devastating. Because, not maybe because of the damage, but the info that the links can acquire just by getting into the main or the natural can be crucial. I mean, can be really life-threatening. And I don't know. Strelok gonna go for Hellions here, and Zervas does have a lot of links out on the map with speed, so shouldn't have problems dealing with that, at least for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a sort of wall off starting here at the top. It's not a big choke, but you can always fully wall it off if necessary.
Ooh.
Will get a really sick surround off.
Nice surround there. That's, I mean, Strelok should have at least saved the Helens until he has 4 to 6 Helens where he can really do some damage. But losing the initial... Oh.
But you see what he's upgrading right now.
Yeah, Blue Flame, and he's going mech.
Well, that's what I was saying. I don't think the Blue Flame is going to be so much for the Helens. I think he's going to go for Hellbat drops. I see this.
And also...
Well, I mean, there's no armory on the field yet, but I mean, there's... Why go Blue Flame off of, like, one factory?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Exactly, and here's the armory coming right now, and the second factory as well, finishing, and Strelok is gonna go mech. Interestingly enough, gonna go mech, and Starport, like you said, so Hellbat drops definitely gonna be the play of the day for him today.
Now the question is, does he go for a Viking first and start cleaning up the Overlords, which I personally think would be the better choice of the two, because Hellbat drops are a lot less common now than they used to be, and the last thing you want your opponent to do is see them coming from a mile away, and this one Overlord is in the perfect spot to scout.
I actually casted FXO SC today, and he did go for, in every game he did go for a Reaper opening and following it up with a Hellbat drop, and did go for a Viking as well to clean up those Overlords, so I'm thinking that he might go for a Viking.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say Viking too. We see the medevac coming up first, but again, like getting the Blue Flame this early, he's looking to hit at a timing, and I think a lot of this is regardless of whether his opponent sees it coming or not. But you know, with 6 Hellions across the field who will also have Blue Flame,
and
it's going to be hard to split.
Zervas does see the Blue Flame now. He realizes there's something wrong about that fire coming out of those Hellions, and immediately starts his Roach and Hydra Roach production, puts down an infestation pit and Hydra then.
Strelok with a tank. Okay, it was misrallied. I was gonna say a tank coming across the field. That's a big target to be killed.
Yeah, and also a slow target. Interestingly enough, Zervas hasn't started. Okay, goes for the missile attacks immediately as the Carapace.
I think he's been so distracted. Okay, there we go. We now have units coming back towards the main.
But I don't know. 6 links won't be enough against the Hellbats.
No, he's just pulling everything.
Okay, that's a smart choice. You really don't want to lose drones. But he has to be careful on the third base not to get run by those Blue Flame Hellions.
Oh, forget the third base. Look at the natural. He could split up these Hellions 3 and 3 and get so many drone kills.
Yeah, actually he could, but Strelok doesn't realize that he goes to try and the third base, and now goes to the main, actually to the expansion.
Natural, it's being pulled, but they're stacking up.
Oh my god! The drones, all the drones are stacked up, and look at that Blue Flame doing damage already.
So hard. And yeah, they're gonna get. Oh, they're gonna get. Oh, if one more volley could go off, he would have killed a lot more. But still, 8 workers killed, not too bad. The Hellbat drop, of course, while being deterred, it was not cleaned up or anything, so he still has to. He has to worry about this. This double Hellbat drop.
Yeah, and this double Hellbat drop will just bypass any spore and spine protection. I mean, if it's one spore and one spine, it's just gonna go there, drop, and remove. Move back the medevacs. Meanwhile, the Hellbats do their job. So Zervas is not out in the out of the fray yet. Gonna have to be careful about that.
I really like that he's got static defenses in each of his mineral lines, though. The Spore Crawler obviously killed the medevac, but most importantly, that the Spine Crawler will start chipping away at the Hellbats and possibly draw the aggression of them to focus on the Spine Crawler instead of the drones, which is so fun to deal with as a Terran player. I can't tell you how annoying it is when you drop and you're like, okay, I actually have to micro these things? Come on. It's supposed to be free kills.
Yeah, well, if it was that easy, then well, I could just type GG instantly. Yeah. And the Viking did come out maybe a little bit later, but does clean up a couple of those Overlords. And I like the decision by Zervas that immediately goes into Hive as soon as his infestation pit ended. Infestation pit was finished. I mean, that's the correct decision to go for Vipers. You need that blinding cloud, of course, against mech. And I don't know, upgrade-wise though, Strelok is in a good position. You
know, there's one very distinct thing I want to point out though. If this was Goody versus Zervas, this would easily go to like a 90-minute game. But the one really key thing, like it's something, like I'm opening with a joke there, but the reality is Strelok doesn't play mech like a lot of other players. He plays mech a lot more aggressive and a lot more, I guess, fast and loose with his mech play. So I like that he's going for the swarm host, because Strelok's, he might get baited into trying breaking it, and like that's the worst thing you could do. You just want to like soak those hits, slowly expand behind it, and like out endure your opponent. But Zervas, I think he'll have, I'm pretty sure he knows too, like Strelok plays that little bit more of aggressive style with the Swarm Hosts and the Vipers. He should have no problem causing some damage.
Yeah, and Strelok, I mean, if, like you said, earlier you said if this was Goody, we would be seeing like 3 sensor towers by now already. And I'm kind of missing that actually. In Mac, you're really slow to move out and to reposition, so sensor towers do help you a lot. But it's the truth is that, like you've said, that Strelok does play cowboy style Mac that really likes to move around, be a little bit more kind of harassive.
I think one thing to know here is I don't think Strelok's expecting Roach Hydra. I mean, he's got supply heroes up to create some Sim City in case Ultralisks come. But it's not. That's not going to be the case at all. It's Swarm Host, Roach, Hydra, Viper.
Yeah, and he should have expected Swarm Host. I mean, Ultras actually are very bad against mech, to be honest. They just don't do the damage required. Also, if you go for Ultras, you need that melee upgrade as well, plus the missile upgrades for the Roach and Hydra.
Yeah,
so,
well, I mean, I could be completely honest. I was trying to rationalize the random supply.
Yeah, of course. normally. And now,
oh god, those corpses.
I don't actually see them because I have everything on low. My PC is that sucky.
Oh man, the physics for the ragdoll, man. Like, if there's one thing you gotta have on for this game, it's not even shaders, it's not the lighting, it's always gotta be the graphics. But the point worth noting is there are more than enough siege tanks to fend off the Locust Waves to cool down on the shots. As we see here, they're not even getting close enough to the supply depots to deal damage. But once the blinding clouds, once the abducts start going off, Strelok's he's actually gonna start moving out a little bit preemptively.
Yeah, and I mean, he is maxed out, so he can move out if he wishes to, but he has to be careful. Oh, nice move there by Strelok.
Oh god, none of these Swarm Hosts are burrowed.
Yeah, none of them have reloaded yet with their Locust, and...
There we go.
Okay, does get him. But
still, like a gun cock sound of like...
Yeah, there will be a mod like... getting ready there, and Strelok did snipe off like 2 or 3 Swarm Hosts, which is a good pick off. Oh, nice abduct there, gonna catch one of those.
There's
oh my god,
so many Vikings though. It's gonna be so difficult for these Vipers to really engage on top of anything. And right now, Strelok's doing what's best, just kiting the Locusts around. They're slow, they've got no range on them. And if he had taken that fight head on, he would have lost half his army, but instead just falls back and plays it safe. I really like that move. Oh, but he's going to engage into him this time. No point defense drone down. Loses a couple tanks immediately.
Maybe actually 2 tanks lost, so not good. I mean, losing tanks against 3 units is never a good trade-off. Also, Strelok can't really get a 4th base up, and ooh, look at that. Locust again doing a great job dealing with those Hellbats. Tanks though still surviving. That
actually big snipe there. The Hydras do get the Raven, so now there's no detection initially for these Swarm Hosts. They'll have to use scans to do it, but he's got such a nice siege line set up here. This is really beautifully positioned by Strelok.
But Vipers will come in play as well here, so Strelok has to keep an eye out for those things in the air there. Anyway, yeah, Zervas right now is kind of cornered here, can't really do anything much. And I would like to see some more bases out of our Zerg friend, and same goes for Strelok though.
Well, Strelok's having a really hard time expanding. He's been trying to take this 4th base for quite some time, but there's been creep. There's roaches blocking it. I don't think he even sees the roaches that are blocking it. One even burrows. Oh, it's so nasty, so annoying.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean,
Hellbat's doing nothing here. They're not going to get at the end of there.
Look at Zervas pulling back drones after the Hellbats were killed. Like,
I like that move though. Safe than sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
I do kind of wish the Strelok would go back to the idea of trying to drop. Like right now, he's got Zervas has got a very immobile army, and the best way to get around that is with mobility. And if you're going to drop all over the place, yes, you run the risk of running into these Corruptors of these Vipers. But if you can kill a lot of drones and catch your opponent off guard in just 1 base, so much the better.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna pay off, and Strelok finally getting his 4th base up. Those gases are the one thing he needs most. And now moving out with those Vipers, Vikings, gonna snipe a couple of those Vipers. So
yeah,
almost.
the Corruptor count is gonna be pretty scary to contend with too. Corruptors are pretty chunky units, and it's very difficult for Vikings to melt them down. So the priority, of course, has to be on the Vipers, but oh man.
Yeah. Still, right now Zervas can be a little bit more aggressive, honestly. Those locusts are getting, are in high count, and Strelok. Oh,
Ooh,
nice
another
attack.
Bucks.
And here we'll see blinding clouds now come in, and look at that blinding cloud. All the siege tanks are basically useless.
Yeah, the point defense drone was eaten up within the instant it was placed down. It completely useless in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, just no energy left to defend against those shots. And another blinding cloud, beautiful there by Zervas, and that's why you don't play mech, kids, because it's just useless against Zerg, honestly.
Yeah. This is, it's really rough for Strelok, there's no question that. He's been hiding behind his turrets. He's got to find a way to push out, but if he just turtles out for the rest of the game, Zervas is already ahead. He's expanding to the lower left corner of the map. He can start expanding northward. Hellbat's gonna, oh my goodness, march onto a bunch of locusts just popping out. Awkward.
Yeah, Strelok trying to get a little bit of an opening there, trying to get him out. And I really miss drops, like you said. Drops would be devastating to Zervas right now. He has a low count of Hydras, only Corruptors and mostly Swarm Hosts, so drops would really pay off for Strelok if they would be successful. And Viking count though still in high numbers, so can snipe off those Vipers.
Oh,
nice
sick abducts though. Yeah, grabs like
Yeah.
half the Viking army. Transfuse is going to go off as well, keep the Corruptors alive a little bit longer, but man, Strelok is in a tough corner. He's trying to expand here to the north, but as we see, we not only have the Overlord creep spread, but also the circling. And
So if Strelok wants to finish that off, he needs to bring a Viking, kill the Overlord, and land the Viking, and and scan and kill the Ling.
we got some Hellbats loaded up. Backs off upon scanning the Corruptors.
And it's like, oh nope, not gonna work. I mean, this is kind of coming to a stalemate where Strelok can't really keep up with the economy. Honestly, Zervas can just take the whole map now and be done with it. And we even see Greater Spire finishing up, so Broodlord's gonna come in play as well. And Strelok is running out of time, honestly.
He really is. Just another blinding cloud. Some more ducks gonna go off. Not quite actually. It does sneak off that last Viper, but with this, I mean, it's so difficult, so precarious. Neither player can really push into one another. Just siege lines set up all over the place, and yeah, Lings are going to start spreading out to every base on the map to ensure that no command centers are taken. And if, oh my god, Zervas actually going to redrop creep here. So irritating.
That's like, that's really, really annoying.
It really is. But right now, the problem for Strelok is, you know, his economy's suffering is why he's not doing this, but he really needs to have like 3 starports down and like just have a ton of Ravens on the field.
Yeah, maybe switch directly to Skyterra, and if nothing else, I mean, Skyterra still is a very strong composition, although coming to it is
it's
difficult and long. It takes a long time. And Strelok now does take a 5th base, but will be immediately harassed by a couple of Lings. Although no, Vikings in patrol. Ready to defend.
Vikings, man. Why the hell not? He's got nothing else he can really do for this.
Why wouldn't they land against a Ling if they land against an Ultralisk? Well,
you know, part of the Swarm trailer. Yeah. Blinding Cloud's going down on top of missile turrets and anticipation. Gonna back out of this just a little bit. Swarm Host, though, gonna have those Locusts push forward, and there's no answer to this. There's not enough tanks in position. He can't even fend off the next wave. Planetary Fortress on spam repair mode.
Strelok coming from the left side though, but the Locusts do relocate them, Locusts, and
oh god, that's a lot of SCVs that aren't just dying, but they also almost all have minerals in their hands.
Yeah, so resources lost even more here for Strelok, and behind this, I mean, look at Zervas just taking all the upgrades he can. Nice kill on those Corruptors though.
This is the perfect way to play this out. The reality is he knew Strelok was going to play mech coming into this, and he made the appropriate composition. Now Strelok's going to try and get around the field to try and circumvent the army, but Zervas...
Strelok actually going for a base trade kind of scenario here. I don't know if he can succeed at it, although his army is definitely more capable of,
Well, it's what he needs to do. He's in a desperate situation where if he just turtles up, he's going to constantly get pushed back and eventually lose. Blinding Cloud even goes down in Planetary Fortress. It will finally fall down, and creep is starting to spread up into this northern part of the map. There's another Planetary Fortress here between all the bases, but Zervas in the meantime has lost 1, 2...
Oh, Infestor's gonna fungal all those Vikings. Oh my god, right now that was a close call. 2 Infestors spawned directly upon those Vikings, and those fungals would have been quite annoying and hurtful.
Oh god, Strelok has so many Vikings here that are about to die to the Spore Crawler if he doesn't move them. This is 25 Vikings he cannot afford to lose.
Those will be vital in his defense against the Zerg Air Swarm. Strelok now going to try and clean up the bases. He's doing a good job at it, but I mean, at home he has nothing to defend against those locusts still.
But the Locust can't really afford to push because Zervas suddenly has to defend his half of the map. Strelok, I don't know, man. Like, he's done a lot of damage with this because you got to keep in mind the main base, mined out, the natural base, pretty much mined out. On one base, not even. Zervas has no income right now.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice there's little income, that little income for the Zerg. He has a huge bank of minerals, but he's now making ultras, and ultras of course have to be extremely cost efficient in order to...
Here's the Sky Terran swap too. Like, ultras, as good as they are, the battle cruisers will rain down hell upon them. Strelok has managed to turtle into the situation which he needs to be in this game, and the Swarm hosts are going to clean up the rest of these tanks. You could probably save a couple of them. No, not even. The Metamax can get taken out here as well.
Yeah, and Strelok has to feel happy, if you ask me right now, because he has the 5th base up and running, although lost the 4th, and will lose those siege tanks, but he managed to clean up 2 bases of the Zerg, which were fully mining, and with this, he
might be happy for now. He's got... his Sky Terran is so good. He's got so many Vikings on the field. The Corruptors can't even engage into the battlecruisers. And even if they do, there's some Seeker missiles or point fence drones available from these Ravens.
Yeah, and this is where Infestors would come in play nicely, and I don't think that Zervas has any Infestor out on the map. Actually, he has 4 Infestors. So
it's rough to say, but I think Strelok finally broke him to the point where he can start winning this game, because Zervas, while he's got a ton of hatcheries on the field, again, he's long distance mining. I don't know why, because he's got all these patches at his 3rd. Zervas, what the hell are you doing? But he's long distance mining.
This is actually really weird. Also, Zervas is so low on drones that he can't really get enough of economy running once he spends that bank. So I'm kind of getting worried for the Zerg player here. And Strelok, I think he managed to...
Oh, he's going to lose the CC here.
I don't think he cares even at this point. He still has a couple of more CCs on the left side of the map.
Floating over to replace the one that's already going down.
Yeah, and here come the Vikings now, and ooh, nice fungal actually capturing.
It's really sad to say, but the Ultras are almost useless in this composition because they're not going to be shooting upwards. They're not going to be soaking hits. The focus is going to be on the Corruptors, and there's just so many Vikings, and they've got 3-2 in their upgrades.
Yeah, and battle cruisers.
Yeah, let's not forget Yamato Cannon one-shots the Corruptors.
Yeah, and not just the Yamato. I mean, in general, they're so tough to kill. You need a lot of firepower to take them down. And with such a low count of Corruptors and such a low count of gas, you can't really remake a lot of those Corruptors or whatever you want to that costs a lot of gas, meaning that you'll have to deal with those battle cruisers maybe with Queens, and I don't know, I would really like to see some Night display, if nothing else, out of Zervas.
Well, you know, one really important thing to note is Strelok is essentially a one-base mining right now. He cannot afford to keep making the units he's been making. He doesn't have the gas income to produce battle cruisers, so while Zervas cannot exactly reproduce, neither can Strelok.
Yeah, oh my god, all the Vikings, look at that fungal.
Oh my god,
fungal.
This is going to break Strelok. Strelok's going to have to force the fight. He has to protect this army. Everything else gets fungled. We see Yamato cannons going off, but one more fungal will seal the deal. Can he land it? He lands it. A lot of the Vikings are about to blow up, but there's still so many more.
Yeah, and right now Locusts are enabling those Infestors to throw the Vikings. Now Yamato's coming in play. Still, there's such a little count of anti-air for the Zerg, and this is where the battle cruisers come into play because they're so strong.
There's nothing here that shoots up. There's Vipers, there's Infestors, and there's Swarmos. Even Yamato down the Ultralisk, because why the hell not?
Yeah, and I would really like to Zervas to move those swarm hosts to the top side and try to kill the mining bases of Strelok. Otherwise, they are pretty much useless at this engagement right now.
Yeah, Zervas may have every base on the map, but he's not really mining from any of them. Like, this is a really terrible situation for him.
Yeah, I mean, and even now he is. He's going to try and go for a base race, but that's. I think it's too late for that. I don't think he can win this anymore because he's without gas.
Yeah, honest to God, when he got that fungal off, I thought Zervas was going to win the game right there. It was so clutch and so sick, and he covered like 25 Vikings with a fungal growth.
Yeah, and good fungal, of course. Strelok losing all those Vikings. Zervas can't really rebuild any anti-air, but Queens, and of course Queens.
Blinding clouds, the planetary fortresses. Of course, doesn't land on one of them somehow. It's covered in a blinding cloud, but it still shoots. Okay.
No. Locusts were just too close. We're at one range. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Shenanigans. But Strelok has responded. He has stopped with the base race for the time being. Left one tank and 4 Hellbats to deal with damage across the field. But that's gonna be more than enough.
Yeah. I mean, Queens can never deal with that, especially with the Hellbats. Tanks maybe somehow, but Hellbats.
I was gonna say, this is the last mining base of Strelok, but it's not. He's finally starting to reestablish his other base, just waiting for the creep to recede. Meanwhile, this is such a weird position, because right now I really couldn't tell you who's gonna win this game. Like, Zervas has got the supply lead, guys, but half of his army is useless.
Exactly what I wanted to say. I mean, Zervas has a good composition against ground Protoss, not against air, sky, Terran.
Protoss, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the composition you're looking for against Protoss, not against Terran that has battle cruisers and Vikings. And right now, Zervas would have to throw down at least a bunch of those creep tumors and start creeping all around the map so the Queens can get to the army quicker, to reinforce quicker. And the Queens are actually his only hope here from this point on, because the gas income is just too small to rebuild on Corruptors. He needs to kind of get rid of those swarm hosts, which are pretty much useless at this point.
They really
needs to start trading bases.
Just kamikaze them for the planetary, like trade them out.
Yeah.
That's what he needs to do for the time being.
Yeah. Because even Strelok himself can't really rebuild, and
actually, man, we're talking about the gas count. Zervas has finally taken just about every gas on the map at this point, so he's gonna have that gas income. I mean, he's already up to 1,000 banked up, but as you stated, it doesn't matter because he can't make anything. He's got like over 100 supply and swarm hosts that are just completely useless.
Yeah, and I mean, he needs to get rid of that supply. I mean, it's like wasted roaches in ZVP, so it's hard for Zervas. Of course, if he loses the ground army, Strelok can of course just roll over him, but Fungals
just barely misses it.
Yeah, and here come the Bell Cruisers gonna
Yamato punish him, yeah. Stormos are going to clean up everything on the ground, but there's not a lot on the ground for them to clean up. Again, the primary thing is this is a Sky Terran army, and without neural parasites, without better things,
nice abducts, and we'll manage maybe to bring out. Look at
how
hard. Yeah, but I mean, how? Oh my God, that was a fungal actually there, wasn't it?
That was a pretty good fungal, but there's no follow-up. He's lost most of his infestors at this point. We got more Corruptors coming up behind us, but again, he's keeping these swarm hosts alive, and I really feel like this is like having 100 workers on the field at the 40-minute mark. Like, you just don't need these. Like, Strelok, honestly, by swarm hosts is it's helping him. If he killed these swarm hosts, Strelok might lose the game.
Yeah, because Zervas could regroup with Corruptors, but Strelok, I mean, Zervas could kill the Vikings. Okay, that's doable. The problem is the Ravens will become the problem, because Zervas will lose all the Corruptors to Ravens. Hunter Seeker missiles will just prove to be too hard to evade. I mean, there's like 5 Ravens with full energy, meaning that at least 3 Hunter Seeker missiles for each, isn't it? Or 2 Hunter Seekers.
I think it's just 2. It's 2 and an auto turret or something like that. But yeah, I mean, this is he can't even bust down this planetary. It's being repaired like mad. There's no building armor on this, but he just doesn't have the DPS to knock it down. There's no, I mean, the swarmers are 3-3, but even so, the planetary still stands despite the blinding cloud.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Zervas is really running out of time, and look at that, losing all the bases on the left side now. The gas income is gone. He has what he has off the bank, and
so much still comes down to, like, just get rid of the swarm host, man.
Yeah, throw them away if you must. Just
like, at least he's using them right now to try and knock down the planetary, but.
Yeah. He should have used that like 10 minutes earlier, not in the 40-minute mark where you're already in dire need of anti-air.
Yeah, there we go, because the planetary finally does get knocked down, but Strelok has the northern part of the map, still mining. He doesn't need to worry about remaxing, though. He's not even able to remax right now, and that's perfectly fine. He just lost a ton of supply, but there's still nothing to break this Sky Army. These Ravens, oh my god, so many Seeker missiles are going to go off, so many point defense drones are going to go down, and Zervas, even if he maxes on Corruptors at this point, I don't think he can actually kill this army.
Yeah, it's going to be more than hard to kill this. And Zervas could have gotten a couple of fungals off with those infestors. Now losing the infestors, that was a big hit there. And now look at Zervas, he's out of minerals actually, and this means that the army he has is the last he will have against this.
Yeah, he's got 9 drones on the field. He can't even continue mining.
Yeah, and Zervas is running out of time entirely. I mean, he has quite some queens, but creep spread is nowhere even close to being good right now. And Strelok, I mean, many say like, look at the supplies. It's it's a 50 supply difference almost there. But Strelok has the supply that is efficient. Meanwhile, like we said, Zervas' supply is pretty much useless. All swarm hosts take 3 supply, and now multiply that by how many swarm hosts there are. There are 20 swarm hosts, so 60 supply just in swarm host.
And Pats are in chat. Shout out to him, noticing that. Oh yeah, by the way, this is only the first game.
Yeah. So at least one more game of repositioning and stuff is coming up here.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, like going into game 2, like let's assume Zervas loses. I don't want to like call anything, of course, but
yeah,
like let's assume Zervas loses. I don't think he'll go for the same composition in game 2. He'll probably play the strengths to the map first and foremost, but I kind of predict something much earlier, much more aggressive.
And Strelok does engage here. One fungal will catch quite some of those.
Lots of fungals going on the Vikings, though. Will he finally crack this army? If he can destroy the Vikings, he'll come through. There's so many queens here on the ground. Oh my god. There's how many queens is exactly? This is 18 queens with a lot of transfuses available for the last couple of corruptors he has on the field.
Nice subduct there, going to snipe another battlecruiser there. The problem is that Strelok actually now used all the energy on those ravens for PDDs, point defenders. So it's kind of up and down game. It's really hard.
Well, the upper left, Strelok's mining. He's got a fresh base. He's going to keep dropping mules. Zervas cannot replenish his forces, as you stated. He's relying purely on transfuses to stay in this game, and once that energy runs out, he is also going to run out.
And right now, I would really like to see a drop or two, or at least a run by. And oh, nice fungal from Zervas again. Going
the fungals, they need to be on the Vikings, not on top of the battle cruisers.
Yes, but the abducts were beautiful. The queens are doing damage now.
The queens, well, they don't do much damage though.
Yeah, like, little damage, but still.
It's 12 versus 3 armored battle cruisers.
Oh my god, the fungal on the Vikings.
That's gonna finally crush the rest of the Vikings.
And that's gonna be game. That's game.
I don't know if that's game though. I mean, you're right. You're probably right.
This is game. There's no way.
Yeah, if he had more, I'm looking around. If he had more tanks on the field, he could hold off the swarm host indefinitely. But you're right. There's no more Sky Army. Strelok, not exactly a throw, but more of a great catch coming out of Zervas. But we got Banshees actually coming up. Kind of a cute transition, recognizing, hey, all the corruptors are gone, but there's still all these damn queens.
Yeah. And I mean, Strelok right now is rebuilding on ground army, and this time around, Zervas army will come back into play, and those are the swarm hosts, which have been useless until
these are the unsung heroes. Like, we even wanted them gone at one point, but now the fact that he still has them in the game is the only reason he's got a chance to win. Back when he went little money, Zervas still dedicating to trying to drone occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, right now, although Zervas is trying to find an opening where to go here, still Strelok, I don't think he has it anymore. He's trying to rebuild his battlecruisers count, but with one base mining gas, or actually 2 bases, I don't think that's more. It's enough.
Man, this is, you know what? I don't even care how the other games go. Just the fact that Zervas was able to turn this around, even if he doesn't win this at this point. The fact that he took that giant engagement, so much respect for this player and so much love for this series.
Yeah, but I do think he will be able to close it down if he does good control of his queens, which will be able to take care of the low count of battlecruisers this time. Oh, actually,
the Banshees have cloak, by the way. I don't know when he researched it, but they do have cloak available.
Oh my god, actually Zervas has almost no gas. If somehow Strelok manages to take out the
there's no detection. There's
overseers. Yeah.
There's no overseers on the map, I think.
One is now morphing, but if Strelok manages to snipe that overseer, imagine that you have like 20 Banshees.
What is... I don't... This game, man. This game.
But just imagine that you have 20 benches and only one overseer out.
Well, actually, you can fungal the Banshees, though, and it does reveal them. Let's not forget about that.
Oh my god, yeah. he has more than enough fungals to deal with that.
Yeah, I wasn't actually thinking about that initially, but I just remembered that, yeah, fungal does reveal the stuff. Now, actually, curiously enough, if he had a neural parasite, he could turn the last couple of battle cruisers in the game really on his side, but man, the base is just sniping off bases left and right. There's a spore crawler here, but a spore crawler alone might not be enough. The army is coming back to try and defend this base. It's so critical because neither player, this is such a desperately low econ situation. Nobody can afford to do anything.
But, I mean, look at that.
Hellbat drop. Oh, Hellbat drop, finally.
Hold the drones, hold the drones. Oh my god.
49 minutes in the game, we finally get a Hellbat drop.
But we must keep in mind, those are the last 4 drones currently for Zervas out. This means if they die, there's only 1 drone gonna be able to be rebuilt. And that's it. But, holy moly.
Yeah, if you want to swear, it's cool. You can do it on this stream, man. Don't worry. Fuck, shit, god damn, like, this is ridiculous. I know you shouldn't and you don't want to, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This has been a swear-worthy game, I feel. I'll put $3 in the jar later, guys. But we got the battlecruiser starting to push out the field. There's a couple of Hellbats with this, but again, even the Hellbats won't really contend with the Queens, much less the Locusts.
And the Fungals, right now the
Fungals. Fungals the Ravens.
All the Ravens, where the Hunter, nice, oh my god, and the PDDs do help. Somehow.
They're not going down very quickly. The Queens, they don't have a lot of damage. The battlecruisers have a hell of a lot of armor, but they are still going to go down nonetheless. Frying some Queens in the process, trying to transfuse underneath this. Zervas has to be careful. He cannot afford to lose a single unit. Another Infestor goes down to a Yamato cannon, and that base in the lower left is taken out by those Banshees. Zervas has officially 0 workers on the field. He can build a couple more, but he can't build a hatchery. This is it. This is Zervas' army. Strelok with the 4 Banshees may have actually brought himself back into the game. What is happening?
Yeah, and Swarmo is still being active here, so that's always a good thing. And I don't know, Strelok right now.
I'm so hungry, but I don't even care.
This is more epic than food. So.
Okay, I think the planetary is finally going to go down. One of the planetaries will go down. No repairs going off on it. A bit of an epic mistake on a Strelok. This base is so critical to him. It's his only mining base. So while Zervas has actually factually 0 income right now, Strelok is in the same situation.
Yeah, and he's gonna be even worse situation as soon as that planetary falls. Being more dependent to gas than Zervas because of his mech units. Zervas, of course, can just rebuild on Queens, and all the SCVs right now going to die. The Fungals. Oh my god.
Well, he's still got some planetaries, I believe, or orbitals. Yeah, so he's got mules. It's not the end of the world, but man, oh man, both of these players taking the worst kinds of losses. This is, I don't even. Zervas has not rebuilt his. Oh, he lost his main. Oh god, everything's gonna start bleeding out. He's gotta get some creep down here to defend it. Those 4
Banshees. What this means? You know what this means? That Zervas cannot rebuild, cannot come back. If right now Zervas, if Strelok takes out all the buildings, he wins.
Oh my god, he can do it with the Banshees too. The Queens are gonna be forced to camp at home, but Zervas is looking to do the same sort of thing.
No, listen to this. Strelok can force a draw at least. He can just lift off and go into the corner.
Oh my god, you're right. There's no anti-air on the field.
Yeah.
Zervas can't make it.
I think Strelok wins.
Strelok, he either wins or he draws.
Yeah, win or draw.
Oh my god, what the?
The only thing Strelok needs to do is to evade the Zerg army and just try to snipe the buildings, otherwise he can lift off and go away.
Zervas might not realize this though, like he thinks he's got anti-air, which he certainly does, but he doesn't have anti-air that can go over the crevices of the map.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh god, if this goes to a draw and we have to redo this game, I'm gonna lose my...
This is just sick right now. This is.
I wish you hadn't pointed that out to me. I wish that would have caught me off guard, because now I'm sitting there like clenching, like, oh god, I want Zervas to do this, but he just can't. But you what? No. Strelok might not realize that. This is actually a really critical thing to note. He might not realize that Zervas has 0 anti-air. He's still continuing to try and take bases, but in doing so, he's going to start slowly losing the few buildings he has that can lift off.
Yeah. Still, oh my god, this is such a... And even Vikings now producing for Strelok, meaning that any anti-air unit for Zervas that would come out would still be contended. And I mean, battlecruisers out as well, so I think Strelok has won it if he manages spikes.
Yeah, I'm getting spikes too.
Yeah. I think the game says get out or
Yeah,
get.
the game saying it's 54
win.
minutes in and the Zerg player cannot win.
Game paused.
Oh god, the
Oh
pause.
my. Oh god. I think you should take a moment's
Deep breath.
break. Yeah.
Just calm
For
the hell down.
for water or something else. Oh my god, this is a sick game right now. This is like the sickest game right now.
I want to play that. Look at Strelok's natural base. By the way, he's got like I don't even know how many SCVs on the refinery right now, and Zervas is the one lacking.
Yeah.
Oh my
Unlucky
god!
Zervas. And
I wish there was some way to convey to them and be like, look, there's no way Zervas can win.
yeah. I mean.
Oh my god!
I like how you pointed out earlier that Strelok might not realize that he can force a draw, and that's where Bronze Player League comes into play, because Bronze players will
go for the
always
draw.
just lift up, yeah, and just gonna.
They're
go in
like,
the
F
corner.
you, you're gonna take 20 minutes to kill me. I'm gonna run to every corner of the map.
Yeah, exactly. And Zerva's still lagging a little bit.
Oh,
there.
it's worth noting too. It's 6 SCVs to 1 on the field. Neither
Game
player really has
resumed.
much of anything.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my god.
Zerva's now. Oh, okay. Probably just downloading. You know what? Goes by the name of P.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully it's all fixed.
Game paused.
And okay, Zerva's probably gonna go after his brother. Say, come on, dude.
If they resume from replay, I'm gonna kill somebody. I swear to God. Like,
take out a knife and go to a neighbor.
yeah, Pats are in chat. Wait, if this game draws, I'm gonna flip out. Me too, dude. I'm gonna go to the backyard. I'm gonna do freaking like backflips and punch walls and chop some wood. I don't know. Like this is
This is
this
just.
has to be a win for Strelok. If this is a draw, I mean like. Okay, so,
I
so
don't-
you guys understand how draws work, by the way. The game counts a time down, not from units killed, but from the last time either minerals were harvested or something was created, whether it's a building or whether it's a unit. So these guys could sit here and fight all day. As long as Strelok's mining from like 1 gas at a time, he'll still be in this game. Zervas has 1 drone on the field, but he can't actually harvest anything with it, and he can't really build anything with it either. He's got 100. Well, actually, he can build something like a
Yeah, he
extractor
can go
or
for an
something, but-
extractor. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
The important thing
Strelok-
to note.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Strelok just stops mining,
Yeah,
he'll force the
it's-
draw, but I think he wants
yeah.
to win, which is why he's still expanding, why he's still trying to stay in this game.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, if Strelok just evades the Zerg army, it's gonna be more than enough to win. I mean, he just needs to. Although those helmets are actually trapped now. Those helmets will die.
Yeah,
If you look at the
they-
helmets
no
will die now.
no medevacs to lift them. Again,
Yeah.
well, if only drops were available.
Actually, one medevac is in that composition. I just
Okay,
just spotted it.
so 2 Hellbats won't die. Is what you're saying.
Game resumed.
Yeah, that's all. But Strelok just needs to evade the Zerg army and has to go for the base kill. And Strelok should see all the Zerg bases. And oh, he has Banshees now killing the. Oh, look at the Banshees now killing all the buildings in the main of Zervas. And I think Strelok realizes this. And Zervas.
Oh god, Strelok's gonna
Yeah.
definitely take the
Strelok-
bases
Strelok-
out.
And what's Strelok doing? Oh, just trying to kill a queen. Okay, good. I was like, don't lose those battle cruisers, man. Those are your lifeblood right now.
Yes, I'm just
And,
gonna keep the unit tab open, guys. There's no production going on at this stage of the game. No one can afford
Yeah.
to do anything really. It's just Strelok struggling to take
Down
bases.
to units. But look at those Banshees doing so much damage to buildings, and right now Zervas is running out of buildings. Also, there is no more larvae, so no more drones available. Actually, 3 larvae still. I was mistaken.
Where?
3 larvae still.
Oh, they're still floating around. This base
yeah.
was dead like 20 minutes ago. These are like the oldest larva known to mankind.
Yeah, ever. Yeah, it's a good thing to.
Yo,
to-
honestly, I'm a little surprised. Like, Zervas should probably just bring whatever overlords he has left on the field too, and bring them with the army just to soak some
Yeah.
hits. Because I mean, he's not building anything at this point. He needs everything he can. There's no more abducts available. The fungals are limited. In fact, I don't think there's any infestors.
Oh my god!
left.
The Banshees got fungled right here. Oh, this is so bad. But
But this is the last infestor.
Yeah.